But what if I told you you could? Got a gun? This was actually Julius Caesar's first gun. The same one. They said if Julius Caesar kept that thingy on him, maybe he wouldn't have gotten stabbed so many times. You know, this is the only gun that's ever shot the moon twice. So I bought this gun. I bought it because it's fucking stupid. Look at it. The first thing I did was remove the stock from the rifle. So I was flexing my shit in Fusion 360. I got out my calipers and a notebook and I fucking took measurements. What else are you supposed to do? Have you ever made anything in CAD? You just fucking measure. If you're copying, you just measure something else. You make it in CAD, guys. It's really not that difficult. It's just fucking drawing shapes in 3 dimensions. Really, the goal was to just see if I could make this shape in Fusion 360. And I did. Here it is. This was actually my first try. Either I'm incredibly talented, which I'm not, or it ain't that hard. I'm like fat Matt Damon, but if he got kicked in the back of the head by a horse in 1997. You cannot give me anything. You can't give me anything. If you give me the opportunity to do something stupid, I will take it. Once I had the handle made, I realized that all I need is a bolt that's got the correct threads and the correct length, and I could stick it through here, straight into there, and then I could turn the stock of this gun into anything I wanted. So I've got this fleshlight. Fortunately for me, there was a gentleman on the internet who had already made a fleshlight housing and had uploaded it for everyone to take and use for their own use. So I took it. And it just so happens that I put a hole in the cap and I got the correct bolt and I also got a metal washer. So now we're in business. I wasn't at all attempting to smuggle a flashlight into my home. My wife didn't catch me with the flashlight and I'm not desperately looking for an excuse to justify why I've got it. That would be stupid. If I got caught with a flashlight, I wouldn't just turn it into a gun stock and act like I bought it for some project, right? This is not about getting caught beaten off, you know? I would just admit that. I decided I was going to stick a flashlight to the end of this gun, as one does. Everyone does that. And I'm tired of pretending like you don't have 6 or 7 of these laying around your house. We all have these. Stop pretending we don't. I didn't want it to look like plastic, because that's kind of defeats the purpose of having big iron on your hip. So I started printing the fleshlight housing. Here's a time lapse of this lid being printed. It's actually pretty cool. Tray in, print. Oh, look at this puppy. Pop her out. Here, I'll do a dramatic reenactment of me taking it off the build plate. There you go. It kind of looks like shit. So I just printed this out. I wasn't super happy with it, and I wasn't sure how well it would take sanding, because PLA doesn't take sanding very well. So I spent like 2 days trying to gently hand sand these parts, and it took fucking forever. I sanded all of it down, and then it still didn't look very good. I was hoping I could sand it down. It would have like a rough woody finish, maybe. It looked dusty and awful. So I decided to stain it. This filament's 30% wood, so I figured I had a 30% chance of fixing it by staining it. So I sanded the fucker down, I stained the shit out of it, and it looked pretty alright. I decided I was going to give everything a coat or 2 of polyurethane. I treated it like it was wood, even though it's mostly plastic, but honestly it turned out pretty well. You should read your instructions on the backs of your stains and polys, folks. It will make your life easier if you just read. I found out recently that reading makes your life easier. You know, I got some classic B-roll of me polying the whole body of this fucking thing. Dude, I'm sure this is going to be some classic B-roll footage. So I initially embossed the letters in the cap a little too deep, and then I was like, oh man, I can fix it. So I ended up printing the cap 3 times. If you can't tell by the first cap, I really fucked this up. I ended up putting tape over this to mask it and then ripping the poly off because I didn't wait for it to cure. And then I tried to fill the gold lettering in with gold paint, and then that peeled out. And then I tried to fill it with Plasti Dip, and then that peeled out. So I scrapped it altogether. This is the first lid. It's I embossed this one even shallower, and honestly, it's fucking terrible. It is the worst of both worlds. The final cap is actually not embossed at all. It is still gold. Here she is. This is actually the first invention ever made. Paul Bunyan used this to shoot trees down when he was 7. There's a new sheriff in town. When the home invaders come, they won't be sure if you're coming or if they're going. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is if that gun has a vagina attached to it, and then he can get distracted and then he'll fuck off. I wanted hitting people with the butt of your gun to be good, so I made this. There's a new sheriff in town, and I'm gonna hit you with the butt of my gun so hard you're gonna come. When you're out in the fucking trenches with your boys, you're getting low on ammo. Don't worry, I stuck some in here. Oh. Jeepers creepers. What kind of secrets you got for me, baby? Oh boy. Maybe you can have one of your friends spit on your finger to help you get some of it out, because sometimes it gets kind of gummed up in there. Jeepers creepers. Woo! I can hear the cattle rustling. Is this the hot new fall fit, though? Is this the new fit? Am I dripped? Am I dripping? Is this drippy? It's just ergonomic. It feels good. I'm just glad that this is why I bought this fleshlight and not to use it for any other reason, and that my wife didn't catch me with it and I'm not just desperately looking for a way out. That'd be pathetic.